navigate complexity. This particular principle very much relates with system thinking principle. It's all about the project managers, project leaders, project professionals has to deal with complexity on a day-to-day basis. The complexity can come at any point in time, and we should have capability, skills to identify complexities and find a way, navigate through it. We have been hearing that we are living in a VUCA world, volatile, uncertain world. So, it is all about dealing with uncertainties helps us in dealing with our project related work as well. Now, project can be visualized as a form of a system. We learned about it in our system thinking, where we said that there are various components and they are interrelated with each other. Now, this interrelationship is extending to the external part of the system as well. So, inside your project there are various components and there are external components like society, governments, institutions, environment, the physical environment, all those things are impacting and interacting all the time. And these interactions and the impacts of these interactions are very difficult to predict in advance. And many times this interaction brings a complexity which we need to deal with. We need to see this complexity on a regular basis and identify and navigate through it. Now, here the principle talks about that continually evaluate, navigate project complexity so that approaches and plans enables the project team to successfully navigate through a project life cycle. So, what is our goal? We want to achieve project objectives. We may have a plan in place, we have a people in place, and when we are moving through it, at many point in time we will deal with the complexity, we will deal with various uncertainties, and these things may be difficult to visualize in advance. Now, as far as the standard is concerned, they talks about the four parameters which brings lot of complexity in the system. Again, they are the example parameters, but we can probably get some learning from these 4 parameters as well, 4 areas as well. Human behavior. So, human beings are very unpredictable. They may behave differently and their behavior may produce complexity which we need to deal with in our project. Some stakeholders might be initially very engaged, but they may become disengaged, and that brings another type of complexity. You might be making a product for users were liking some set of features, some set of things, and over a period of time or because of some events their behavior change, their priorities change. They start looking at things differently and it brings new challenge, new uncertainties in our project objective achievement process. So, human behaviors brings complexity in our project which we need to deal with all the time. System behaviors. So, like the humans are changing, they are also impacting the system. So, what is system? So, we have a project, there could be various external and internal systems which are integrating with each other, and these integration and alignment may bring a different kind of complexity. The amount of complexity may vary based on number of interactions and systems which are available. The more the interactions and systems, the more the complexity would be. Similarly, the human behavior related complexity will also be a function of the number of people into the things, the type of background they are coming from, the type of culture they belong to. So, depending upon the variabilities and the unpredictability in their understanding or in their behavior, we need to deal with those complexities. So, we can say that human behavior and system behavior brings complexity in our project way of working. Now, uncertainties and ambiguities. Related, all these parameters in my minds are related and they are bringing the total complexity in the whole system. Uncertainties and ambiguities, as we have been learning about, we discover things as we go along. There are various events which can bring uncertainties. We may deal with various unknowns which are difficult to imagine in the advance. You may have a black swan kind of events also where we do not have any previous knowledge available. So, when these kind of event occurs, we will deal with a situation which was not planned before. So, as a project leader, I should be always ready to face, or I should be always vigilant, I would say, rather than ready. I should be always vigilant to see that how some of the uncertainties are becoming issues, becoming certain, and we may not have all the data available about it. Ambiguity is we may see things blur. the information or the predictability of that area is ambiguous. It may happen, it may have an error there, and we need to get the visibility as we progress. So, one of the tools which usually work is progressively seeing the details and always taking the impact of our learning progressively in our project process, and that is how we navigate through these ambiguity and uncertainties, and we navigate through our complexity. Technological innovations. A new innovation done in the industry, new innovation done by your competitor, new innovation done by your own team can bring your own complexity. You might be very comfortable with a particular technology. In the meantime, your project reaches to a mid stage, you have a new innovation coming in which may disrupt the whole industry or may disrupt the customer segment you were targeting for. So, the technological disruptions are happening very frequently in today's world, because the innovation is happening pretty frequently, not necessarily just in your organization, outside your organization as well. And as a project leader, we need to navigate through these technological innovation related to complexity as well. So, if I just take a simple example, the project might be 100 times more complex than the example I am taking. You may want to go to a different country, assuming you are not that much frequent traveler to different geographies, and you are going to a country where you have never been. Now, there are uncertainties related to how do you approach the process of going to that particular country, how do you pass through various immigration channels, and finally you have a desired hotel where the language and other things are very complex. So, you can see that this brings a lot of complexity in your mind. Now, you may do a very detailed planning, but you will face various events and situations where new complexity will keep coming to you. And probably you need to be vigilant about your steps and your action when you are taking this travel. Just doing planning once may not be sufficient. Now, why I brought an idea of new country, new culture, new language? Because if you are going frequently to that particular place, probably the uncertainties and complexities are less, because you know how things will work. But when you are going in a very unknown space, you can imagine the situations, maybe you plan it in advance, but you need to always be vigilant. In a project space, we may do maybe thousands of such activities, and you can understand how when you have thousands of such activities, the complexity of the project and interlinking between these activities can create a super complex environment for your project. And as a project leader, we need to be vigilant in navigating through it. It is about applying the whole system level behavior, understanding the whole system, applying system thinking, and frequently doing inspect and adapt, frequently progressively elaborating your scopes, your plannings, and engaging with the relevant stakeholders to navigate through these complexity seems to be a good idea for a project leader.